Listening to WICR.
And welcome back. It's Kate and Catherine here on Monday at 5 o'clock.
Yes, 5:05.
Oh, perfect. So I know Catherine and I are going to start talking about the NHL season because that regular season starts Wednesday.
Yep.
I know Rangers open up on Thursday is their home opener, which I know you're still trying to get tickets for.
Yeah, we'll find that out by Wednesday night if I'm actually going to go or not.
So the first story we want to start with today is the preseason buzz. Is Carlson's unlikely for the Senators' season opener. He's day-to-day because he's recovering from foot surgery.
Yeah, he played throughout the whole playoffs with a broken heel to round 1, 2, and round 3 because they lost to Pittsburgh. And then Pittsburgh went to the final. So he had a crazy summer anyway because he got married, surgery, stayed in Ottawa, didn't travel back to Sweden for maybe a month, and then. But it's bad for Ottawa because he's their captain, top defenseman, but he's a scoring defenseman that he scores more goals than assists. You would think he's a forward, not a defenseman in a way.
I remember him getting hurt and playing hurt throughout the entire playoffs this past season. He said in the article, it says, I'm going to take it day by day. We don't really have a timeline on things. I'm feeling good enough to be able to take practice, but we will know, as we all know, practice and playing against a team are just two different things.
Yeah, I think last week he was in a light blue jersey, so it's for no contact. At practice, players couldn't touch him. And then he switched to a green jersey, so I think it's a little bit of contact, but not full out play. So that's a good sign. But he also stated I don't think I'm going to miss significant time, but I want to make sure when I do come back, I'm back, which is a big thing in hockey. A lot of players come back.
They rush it, yeah, and then they're out again.
Yeah.
I know. He said he wanted to take his time, so I know when he says he doesn't have a timeline, that means he's really going to take this injury very seriously. And breaking your heel is a serious injury to begin with. I don't even know how one does that. Was it during a game, or was it personal?
I'm trying to think what play it was, because he did it in the first round, because he was weak on it when he played the Rangers in the second round, but I think it was just an awkward collision, because he got hurt in game 2 against the Rangers, I think it was, because he collided, he got stuck between two players and collided, and they hit his lower body, so that, because your skates are so compact, so because they're just using cortisone and basically numbing the pain so you don't
feel it. I know it says in the article, center Derek Brassard, who had surgery on his right shoulder to repair a torn labrum, it won't know if he's playing on Thursday, and he said that his parents keep asking him if he's going to play, and he's like, I don't know if I'm playing or not, because they really wanted to buy tickets, and he goes, it's a matter of timing. He goes to get back out there, and he goes, it's nothing like on ice shape. He could be in good shape, he's just not on the ice shape.
No, yeah.
That's how some people say it, I'm in shape, but I'm not in shape for the sport.
No, yeah, he also had a crazy summer. So a lot of these, he had weddings. He was in wedding parties, just for the factor his surgery, and that's a big piece for Ottawa because they traded for him from the Rangers which that's how the Rangers got Zibanejad, because they wanted, and he's old in hockey age. He's 28, so
which I mean, not everybody can be Martin St. Louis and play into what year 40.
He was 40. Well, they have Yager signing a 1-year contract with the Flames. How old's Yager? 40 something.
Oh,
46.
Jeremy Yager. He was never one of my favorite players growing up watching hockey. I mean, my current favorite player would be Chris Kreider. I know you love Chris Kreider as much as I do, probably more. But those are things these injuries that they've had with Derek Brassard and Carlson, those are huge injuries. A torn labrum and a broken heel, those are big injuries, and they're going to be big deficits if they're not playing on...
they open Thursday.
They open Thursday. So
the Capitals.
And the Capitals were a very good team last year. And they don't have Shannon Kirk. because we have
They lost Shattenkirk.
Kirk. Who else did they lose? They lost a couple players too. So it's going to be a different team.
Williams went to Carolina. No, he resigned. They lost a lot of veterans to Capitals, and they have a young team, and their young players, like, they have Andre Brokowski, I can't pronounce his name because it's Sweden. Like, he was at least top 20 pick in 14, because he's the same age as he's like our senior year class here, age group.
So he's like 21, 22.
Yeah, I think he's 22 now. Or he just turned 21. I think he's like our group, or he's like a year older. But like he's like hasn't broke out like how he was supposed to, and he played on like the OHL team that McDavid, Strome, like all these. Well, Strome hasn't made the league yet, which bothers me. But like players that had made the league and like are no names, like he should be like
there. Yeah, I get that, and I mean you have two players who probably will not play for the Senators on Thursday, and they might not be back for a little bit. How do you think that's going to translate when they play Washington on Thursday?
I think on defense it's going to hit them hard just because Carlson's a player that's all over the ice. And he's like as I said before, an offensive defenseman. Like he's not the one blocking shots all the time. He's the one like making the plays at the blue line, like making sure like like if he's shooting the puck at the net and that's where like your forwards are deflecting it, like he's your defenseman center setting up your plays like your centerman's supposed to do. And they're going to lose that with Brassard, too, because Brassard's a very, like, with the Rangers, he did it last year, he did it with them in playoffs. He's very, like, he sees the whole ice. So, and Brassard was, like, slow start last year and wasn't, like, what he was, like, glorious on the Rangers, but he's playing with different lines and, like,
But he switched lines constantly I felt like last year. He wasn't, like, with one set line,
no,
which I think hurt his play. I think he needs to go back to having, like, a set line. I think that makes him a better player.
Yeah, and he's more of the type of person when he knows who he's playing with, like open ice, like he knows like if he's with like I think of his name.
But like when he's with certain players, he must feel more comfortable with them.
Yeah, like
when they're on the ice.
And Ottawa's a very like close knit, but not like I feel like.
No, I get what you're saying with that. It's like they have. Their lines are close-knit, so, like, they can feed off each other.
Yeah, and they're very, like, they're a different team play because, like as, like, Nashville, like, their core is defense. Like, Ottawa's, like, their defenseman's should be technically a forward.
Yeah.
And their forwards are, like, not forwards.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
Everything swaps.
No, I get what you're saying. And then, so those are going to be two big parts that they're going to miss. Is there anything that they're going to be missing on offense?
I don't think so that much as of now. I know, let me see who it was, because I have someone on Ottawa on my fantasy team, actually. And let me see what they were saying. And I think it's who my cousin played against ancient years ago when my cousin played hockey. And wasn't an old man that has a kid now. But, where is he? Oh, Bobby Ryan. They say he's day-to-day, and that's, like, a big hit because he's a big guy. Like, he's, like, I think Bobby Ryan is, they're not going to give me his height and stuff on ESPN because it's ESPN. But he's, like, a 6'2", like, he's a huge, like, and he's a forward, so, like, he's a big forward. Like, they're going to lose, like, I know when he played against the Rangers, at least, like, seeing it, like, he's always in the center of the ice, like, moving the puck around, like, he's finding, like, if he's day-to-day and not playing, like, that's just a huge guy out of your lineup.
They're missing a couple big key components to their lineup, and I think it's going to be a toss-up in whether who wins, but who do you think is going to win? It's the Senators or the Senators and Washington Capitals?
I'm trying to think. Like, I think, like, Washington, like, everyone thinks they're gonna do, like, horrible this year. But, like, just Washington's, like, they still have Ovechkin, Oshie, Backstrom.
They still have a lot of very good... they've got very good players, so I don't think it's going to be. The loss of those, what we said, Shattenkirk,
Williams. I think it's Williams, and there was another person, I can't think of his name.
So they lost 3 people, but I don't think
they're just a very young team, so I think
the Capitals are going to be fine this season. I don't think that they're, I do think that they're going to be a good contending team for the playoffs. But hockey's a long season. We start in October, and we end in
182 games, not 182. It feels like 182 because VC played over 100 games last year. That's why I know that. Why? It's 82 because 41 are home and 41 are away.
It is a long season, but they don't play they'll travel, but then they have like a couple days to travel. So like if they're like, say the Rangers are away, they play on like a Tuesday. Sometimes they play on a Tuesday night. They don't play until Thursday or Friday.
I read a blog, some hockey wife, Eberle's wife posted something, and like someone wrote a blog about her, like hockey wives, and she mentioned like they get like a good like day off like once a month per se, like an actual off day, but it could fall on a Wednesday. Like you don't like it's not like
right. I know what you're saying. They at least get like a full off day to be with their family and their kids, which honestly, a lot of the players do have families, and some of them just got married this off season. So I think that's gonna help. But I do have to say, I think Washington may beat the Senators on Thursday.
I think so too. As much as I dislike Ovechkin,
I dislike him as well. I get what you're saying.
I just think they're gonna have more power in a way.
And I think they may have more fluidity throughout their lines because they're a team they're an experienced team, and they know each other and they know how to play with each other. So I think that's going to help them beat the Senators, who are missing 3 key components to their lines and their roster.
And hopefully was named in the top 10 players in the league, and he's their number 1 goalie. So it should be an interesting attribute of the game.
It should be interesting. But when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about Zucker and how Jason Zucker and how the Vegas shooting last night affected him and his family. So we will bring that back to you in a couple minutes.